And here we are, just outside the castles of Babolat, where King Burky and his little jester Badger like to stroll around, looking at board games that were planted in the years gone by, and seeing which of these are still standing in the woods of Evergreen.
It is the woods of Evergreen. Welcome, welcome, as we talk about games from yesteryear that we feel stand the test of time. Welcome to the kingdom of Babolat. I am your good king. It's good to be the king. And our court jester, Sir Badger the Brave.
Good evening, good morning, good wherever you are. Hope you're all doing well. How are you, sire?
Oh, excellent, excellent. We are in the land of the frozenness now. Winter has come.
Oh, I was just a bit confused because you look like you have a nice rougish tan to yourself there.
Well,
maybe
that's my rosiness that protrudes from my kingship.
All right. And I am in a t-shirt because it's so friggin' hot out here.
Oh,
and it's October.
Yeah, we've had a couple nights that it was down to 19 degrees Fahrenheit. So freezing. Ooh. We haven't had any snow yet, but today it's going to get back up to 54 degrees, and we are very happy. So it's just sweatshirt weather.
Okay. Yeah. 80s.
Just sweatshirt weather.
I think it's 80s around here. 80s, 86.
Oh,
20 degrees Celsius. So it's very warm.
Yeah, most of the leaves are falling off the trees now. So
yeah, and I've expended all my deodorant. my annual quota of deodorant has been surpassed.
Oh no! So now you stinketh.
Yes, I stinketh like a common person in Babolat at the low end, where all the sewers diverge into one channel. But anyway, that's not what people come to hear.
That is joining us live. We have the live chat. Feel free to join in and let us know what you think about the games we think stand the test of time. This is a real quick, abbreviated episode. Barry, tell them what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, we're basically revisiting games which, for us, are still in our collection and we still play or want to play. That might be a lot of games for some people, because it's like some people buy games and then they just sit on the shelf and they go, oh, I bought that game back in 2002 and I still haven't played it, but I want to play it. No, those games don't count. But these are the games that are games that we love. We think we're going to still be playing many, many years into the future. And it's kind of like an insight into, good games that maybe you should look into if they are still around, because we're going to be talking about the years 2006 and 2007. Yes, we've combined 2 years together in this one. We previously did a podcast individually for 2006 and individually for 2007, stating three games each of our.
Those were two of our most glorious episodes, by the way.
Yes. But this time around, of course, of my fault, I haven't played many games from those 2 years, so I couldn't justifiably quote 3 games from 2006 and 2007. So that's why we've combined this into one.
Well, I got thinking about this because this is the second go round. We went from 2000 and we went all the way up to 2021, I think. And then we did the circle back. Oh, just to 19.
Yes.
Okay. Because
this time around.
We won't know, but of course. So anyway, we started the circle. Well, for those of you that are newer to the hobby, this is a long time ago. Those of you that have been around for a while, some of it is even a little, I really didn't get into the greater hobby board game market really until around 2010. So that dates us a little bit, but in 2014 is probably when I would say that I started listening to all the reviewers and all those kind of things. And And a lot of those people would give their top 100, like Eric Summerer and Tom Vassell and Sam Healy. Well, I would listen to these and I would hear about these games that were in the top 100 and went, whoa, I got to find out where I can get these games. Well, back then they were being published. So I actually have a fair amount of games from that era because I purchased them, even though it was, 7 years after they were published type of thing. So I have a few more of them, but these are games that I don't often get to play. So remembering the rules, of course, and I usually remember the experiences. I remember who we played with and the feeling it gave me. But so this is an opinion, subjective thing. This doesn't mean that these games have the most sales. This doesn't mean that they're evergreen titles and that they're at Target and all of the, still selling millions of copies. That's not what we're saying. No. We're saying for us, we think these games stand the test of time. We're not going to get rid of them because we really like them.
Yes, exactly. So yes, they're evergreens to us. And as I said, it's a case of, these are good suggestions. If you ever happen to find one,
they're not just good suggestions.
Okay.
They're not just good suggestions. They are great suggestions. They are must own. If you don't own these, there's something wrong with it. No, did I just say that? I just said that. I thought it and then it came out of my mouth and I didn't mean it to come out of my mouth. I'm getting older and my filter is losing, but
filter? maybe we should call it the Burky and Badger Unfiltered Babble.
Oh, there you go. And as the older we get, the more unfiltered it will become.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Okay, so we're going to start off with the 2006s. Previously mentioned on our Woods of Evergreen when we mentioned 2006, the titles were, and I believe, because I haven't put the names next to them, that you chose TI3, which is Twilight Imperium 3, Shogun
from Queen Games.
And Pillars of the Earth.
Whereas one of my favorite worker placement games of all time.
It is pretty cool.
If anybody knows about the 5th player expansion and you want to sell it, I will buy it.
Oh, there you go.
Very hard to find.
I bet it is. And my 3 picks from 2006 were Cluedo DVD. I'll get back to this in a second. Quirkle and the Tundra expansion for HeroScape. So, yeah, as you can see, I was delving into the expansion universe due to the fact that there weren't many games that I found that good in 2006. So going back to the Cluedo DVD, I just noticed after reading the notes that I put for 2006 that, I mentioned it in our last Woods for 2005. So obviously there was a correction on BGG to change the date. And I forgot to go and pick up the game when my wife just come in. And to check the bottom of the box. So I might do that in a second and see what's written on the box. And again, it might be dependent on the location where the game was published in a different year as well. So in the UK, it might be
have
published.
That a lot in the United States where they're published in 2005 and they're actually released in the States in 2006. And then if it was at the end of the year, when did it actually get listed on BGG and how is it stated and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So there you go. That was our last picks for 2006. What are our new picks for 2006?
I have a new pick.
Yes,
Pick me.
Yes, I'm picking you.
I have a game from one of my favorite game companies, and this was one of the companies that we bought games every year at Christmas because back then you buy one, you get one free. They had this deal going on. This was from a company called Days of Wonder. See this game? Cleopatra, the City of Architects. This is a pretty dang cool game. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about it, but before I do, one thing that was kind of interesting, some of these games I haven't played recently, and so I'm trying to go back so I can even talk intelligently about them, which I don't ever do. I let the smart people, let Barry do that. But what was interesting, I went to go check out some stuff on this game on BGG. And I was going back into the videos, and I saw an old video from Scott Nicholson, and it was Board Games with Scott. And he was doing reviews, and then there was a whole bunch of other reviews. And I watched Scott's for just a little bit, and I got to tell you, the board game review quality has gone up about 100 notches since then. I mean, back then they were really just there wasn't super high technical production values at all. It was somebody with whatever quality camera we had back then that we could actually make a video, and people just talking about board games. So it wasn't about all the making it look best so that your channel looks the best with fancy logos and music beds and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So but it was super cool seeing Scott in his earlier days with his brown hair versus his white hair. And it was just really cool hearing that enthusiasm from that era. So if you ever get a chance to go back and watch some of these older reviews from these game eras, it's pretty interesting. So anyway, Cleopatra, City of Architects in 2006 by Days of Wonder. This here was designed by one of my favorite designers, Bruna Catala and Ludovic Montblanc. Did I say that right? LeBlanc.
Blanc. No C. You don't mention the C. You just say LeBlanc.
LeBlanc.
Oh, it's changed to a G. Okay.
My apologies, Ludwig. Anyway, this game, it's this really cool tactile, the production value for the time. And this was something Scott mentioned was it's off the hook. There was all kinds of plastic toys in here. There's the little wall arches. There's the obelisks. There's the sphinxes. You've got the little pyramids that everybody has. You have a nice set of a deck of cards, and you actually use the box for part of it, which I don't always like that, but in this case, I kind of do. You're essentially just collecting a whole bunch of resources, and you're either you want to be the master architect and get Cleopatra's favor, and you're going to get all these different resources to build different things, and you're going to fill in these spots. But there's also this, you basically have two simple actions where you're going to be gathering cards or you're going to be building something. But if you get over 10 cards, you can get these little curse tokens. And there's an interesting mechanism in this game. At the end of the game, whoever has the most of these little tokens in their little pyramids, these little triangle cardboard boxes you have, they cannot win the game. So you automatically lose. In fact, if there's a tie, say 2 of the players had 5 of those tokens, both of them cannot qualify to win. So there's this balance of, okay, I got to make sure I don't have over 10 cards. So I can't just sit there and hoard resources and do this. I have to spend them. Otherwise but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, and you're going to take a little bit of a penalty, hoping that you don't have the most penalties. So it's just a super cool game when it's all said and done. It's got a little bit of that back and forth tension where people are trying to vie for these certain spots that you're trying to build in a certain area to fill up those spots the most efficiently. And anyway, Cleopatra and the Society of Architects, for me, it's a huge win. One of the reasons I also think that it's an evergreen type of title is it was so well thought of that they made a huge redo of this game recently, where it is all deluxeified. And in my opinion, this was really deluxeified. This here, for the time, this was a super heavy game. And I'm glad that I have it in my collection. This was one of them that I didn't get to purchase initially, and I got it through a trade or something after the fact. And our family played that, and it's that family weight game. You know, it's strategy, but it's not super heavy. It's an hour and a half game.
Yeah. A game I have never played. And again, you can tell it's great production by all the pictures that have been posted on BGG, which show you just close-ups, and every picture looks like a holiday snap kind of thing.
Yep. So what's your first one?
My first pick is an expansion, unfortunately, from
Oh boy.
2006. It's for Arkham Horror, and it's the Dunwich Horror expansion. Now, yes, I know I've already spoke about this in 2005 being a great game, but this kind of adds something special to it. Number one, it adds these madness and injury cards, which kind of get rid of an annoying rule in the base game. Basically, whenever you lose all your health or you lose all your sanity, you have to lose half of your stuff, which is annoying. And this gave you the choice to either do that or take an injury card. And these were kind of like maledictions and things which, you know, were constantly with you. And so you'd like to have a limping leg so you wouldn't be able to move as far, or you'd be a bit crazy. So like whenever you saw so and so, you wouldn't be able to act properly, or you wouldn't be able to go into a space with the cultist. They were very, very simple little cards, and they would accumulate, which made it really interesting and made your character unique as well, which is another great thing about it. Apart from adding all of these other monsters and location cards and another little bit of board you can go to and explore, and some more kind of Cthulhu-esque monsters. That's about it. But it was just these cards that drew me to this expansion, and it was these cards which made this expansion and made the game so much more interesting. As I said, having a handicap after being injured, it's one of those things which is missing from games or video games as well. You get injured, but you can just click your fingers and all of a sudden you're back to normal, and you can hit at your full hit damage thing and run as fast as you could. And that's always bugged me about video games and board games, or any kind of, even television. You see someone get shot and then 3 weeks later they're running around, and it's like they're not having that wound still, 2 years on, which is aggravating them. But yeah, that's just me having my personal kind of dig there. But anyway, this is a fantastic expansion. If you do own the original second edition of Arkham Horror, this is the expansion that you need, the Dunwich one, because it just adds lots more stuff, and it adds those cards which just make the game so much more interesting and realistic, instead of just like losing stuff because you went unconscious for a while. But anyway, there you go. That looked good on our Cthulhu map. Oh yes. It's good. All right. Well, before we go into our second one, we'll talk about our sponsor. And our first sponsor is Arcane Wonders. And Arcane Wonders has been with us since we first started the Burky and Badger program, and came out with the game Sheriff of Nottingham. Awesome game. And since then, they have just knocked it out of the park with amazing games like Sheriff of Nottingham, like Smartphone Inc., Aquatica, Onitama, Foundations of Rome, Picture Perfect, Furnace, Royals, Spoils of War. But now they have a new game that Barry actually got to pick up in Essen. And Foundations of Rome just launched their late pledge manager today as well. So you can go and late pledge to get in on Foundation of Rome, which is one of my top 10 games of all time. But Barry, go tell us a little bit about the dice. The Dice Manor. Oh, yes. Okay. This is the latest game from Arcane Wonders, and of course, the Dice Tower Essentials. It's a nice, slim, thin box. It's Ticket to Ride size, and it's very colorful on the outside. And in the game, players are going to be building a mansion, basically. And they're doing this with dice. This is a game which resembles very much Vegas Showdown, where players on their turn will roll some dice. They will choose a set of numbers, all the same value, so all the 3s or all the 6s, and then they will use them to either bid for a room or to acquire. My brain's gone dead. But or to do a tour around your house, which you've already built. So that kind of happened on the second round. Or you can do some advertising, and the advertising will later on unlock extra dice that you can use on your turn, and it will also give you victory points. And that's what you're basically doing for 4 rounds is you'll be using a pool of dice and then bidding on different places and trying to outbid the other players, because they'll all be bidding on the same thing. And it'll be a case of the player that places the most dice at a location on a room or on the publicity, which will actually win. And again, sometimes it's a case of the highest value may win and get a bit of a head. So this game plays very, very fluidly once you've understood the mechanics of rolling dice, collecting a set, and then placing it somewhere. And so the game is an easy family, medium weight type of game. But there's extra bits to it as well. There's bits of set collection in the rooms that you buy. There's 6 different types of room, and you're going to be encouraged to try and buy one of each and add them to your house. And again, adding them to your house is a kind of spatial awareness puzzle where you have doors on these tiles and you're trying to link the doors up, but also they have numbers on, and that corresponds to doing a tour around the house. You need to place the dice value of that number on that room to go and tour. And the more you tour, the more kind of bonuses you get. There's some dice mitigation. You'll get a lot of tokens, which will allow you to re-roll or just change the value of a dice by 1 pip. And it plays very rapidly. So within about 40 minutes, you would have played 4 tours. You would have actually done a grand tour at the end of the game with your house to try and recuperate extra points. Oh, hit that microphone. But that's it. The game is just a dice rolling, kind of very interactive, kind of set collection. As I said, the tiles you'll be collecting in their different colors and trying to get as many of the same color together. It's just a fun game. I've really enjoyed playing it only once, and already people want to play it again, myself included. So that's Dice Manor. Look out for it. It should be around in the stores pretty soon.
Yeah, they had it available at Essen. I'm not sure if it's available in the United States yet.
Yeah,
but you can check out arcanewonders.com.
Yeah,
and you'll be able to get a hold of Dice Manor. It sounds right down my alley.
Yeah, especially if you like, you definitely like Vegas Showdown.
I do.
Yeah, I think BGG says it's 2023 the release. So,
okay. Yeah, I think that was a German release, so I don't think it's arrived here yet. But it'll probably be in distribution. I haven't talked to Robert about that. I'll have to check into it.
Okay, so there you go.
All right. Well, my number 2 comes from the year 2007. And 2007, this is what I would consider more of a filler game. What?
Do you want to talk about the games that we spoke about from 2007 first?
Oh, yes, we do. Yeah, I saw you waving across the ocean. You're standing up on a hill, waving. No, stop.
Yeah, I got my flags out and doing semaphore.
Well, that's what that was. I thought that was your arms and your big hands.
So on our first go round of 2007, here are the games that we chose as our evergreens. We have Burky's picks, which were Tribune, Colosseum,
yes.
I think it was Jamaica.
Did I say Jamaica or you? I thought you said Jamaica.
I think we both said Jamaica.
We both said Jamaica, man. We'd be jamming on the one, man.
That's why it's only 5 on the list there. But for myself, it was definitely Jamaica, and it was definitely Galaxy Truckers, and it was definitely Agricola.
I love Galaxy Trucker.
My 3. Yes.
I would have said Galaxy Trucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, this time. But no, you had to hog it the first time.
So anyway, what are your new picks for 2007, extending this list?
Okay, into 2007 now. I picked a filler game, and this is one of the games that we bring out fairly regularly. It's been a little while since we played this game, but I always have to revisit the rules because there's always a little bit of a how we pass the the cards. There's a drafting and an auction mechanism in the game. And this game is called Biblios. And this was from Yellow Games. It's got this really super cool magnetic top, and it makes it look like it's a book. And basically, you're a bunch of scholars that are trying to build up your library, but it has dice, and you've got the scriptorium where all the dice sit, and you've got these 5 dice, but they're each a different color. So you're collecting these cards, and they all have number values on the cards. So there's this set collection too. So you're building like the yellow cards or the blue cards or the red cards or the green cards. Whoever has the majority in those sets with the total of numbers is going to get a value of points at the end of the game based on what the pips on the dice are in the scriptorium. Well, there's other cards that allow you to change those pips. They're big chunky dice too, which is kind of cool. But you got like the church card. There's some of them that are like double, like you could change it up 2 pips. Or you can change 2 dice, 1 down, 1 up, or vice versa. And then there's this little really cool mechanism that everybody around, we're all going to get something, but then one of the cards is going to go into this later auction draft where we're able to use the gold value of these cards, which gives up your ability to collect points in that set collection, but you can spend them to get a different card that maybe will do better for you, that kind of thing. So it's super fun, and it's quick. You know, this is a 20-minute game. It always seems like it takes me longer to refresh myself on how to play it than it does, and it's so simple. But it's like there's a couple, the way you hand the cards, I always forget it. But it's just a great little filler game called Biblios from Yellow. It's designed by Steve Finn and illustrated by David Palomo.
I think you can still get that as well.
Yeah, it's super cool. Love this game. Yeah. Biblios, highly recommend it. I think you can still get it. I think it's available. And Kabuki Kid is here.
Yay!
Woohoo!
Hey, Kabuki.
She keeps coming to the show and watching and encouraging us so that we keep going, because it's the only reason, Kabuki. It's the only reason.
I think Paul Grogan has just finished his live stream, so that's why she's joined us.
That's what it is. This show will be broadcast live on iTunes and Stitcher Radio and all the other favorite podcasts. So for your audio listening pleasure. So Barry, what is your number 2? Oh, Kabuki said something about Biblios.
Yeah, she says, a friend of mine has a copy that came with melted looking dice. Thankfully, you don't have to roll them in the game.
That's funny. All right, what's your number 2?
Okay, this game came out in 2007, and in fact, this game was bought for me because I told someone that I like board games, and so they bought this for me. And for the greatest time ever, it just sat on my shelf doing nothing. But now it's on my Evergreen list because it is a fun game. Now, again, this game is a dexterity game, and I'm not a fan of dexterity games. In fact, I've only got 2 in my collection.
Yeah,
and this is one of them. It's called Wobbly, which is, in short, Jenga with marbles. So imagine your Jenga tower is marbles, and as you can see, it's like a layered cake of marbles, like so. And all you're doing on your turn is rolling 2 dice. One is a level dice and one is a color dice. So the level will tell you which level, starting from the bottom, working your way up. And then the color is the color. And then you get this little stick and you've got to try and knock it in through the middle without knocking the tower over. The game comes with this lovely plastic transparent ring which goes around this tower. So when the balls do fall off or the tower does fall, it's well contained. It also has this spirit level on the top. So when you build this tower cake of balls, That sounds fun. A cake of balls. You can tell if your table is level and therefore the tower doesn't wobble. But the tower does wobble after a while. It's just a simple dexterity game. You roll some dice, you knock out a ball. If you're successful, you keep that ball. Now, there are some rules for it, but I don't use the rules. I've got house rules, which are quite fun. So it's a simple case of, you roll the dice, you knock out the color ball that it tells you to knock out. If you do, you keep that ball, you put it in one of your buckets, and that's your 10-pointer bucket. If any other balls fall, you put them in another bucket that you have, and that's your -2 points. And we play like that. And that's our house rules. But we just love playing this game. It's simple to set up, considering it's stacking marbles, which sounds impossible. Check out this video, as you can see.
Is it just a Europe? I've never seen it here before. Is it a European publisher? It almost looks like it's more of a toy.
Yeah, it is more of a toy. I think it was like one of those things that come out. It's by Trends UK on the box. And in fact, there are. I'll put up the BGG page for you to have a look. Here you go. So there you go. There's a few amount. There's a Spiel Spaß. There's Smart Toys and Games, which I think is American. But yeah, not many people.
Yeah, that looks interesting.
I give it a 7 out of 10, but it's just fun. It's not a game that I want to play all the time, but it is a game that I can just get out with anyone, and it's just like, let's have a laugh. There's not balls everywhere, and you can have any number of players as well. So yeah, Wobbly, my Evergreen pick.
Wow, cool.
For 2007.
Well, before we go on to our third game, we'll talk about our other sponsor real quickly, and that is Game Toppers. Game Toppers, of course, is our company where we make portable gaming tables that convert your home table into a high-quality board gaming solution with all kinds of cup holders, dice towers, dice accessory trays, thematic game mats. We have over 20 styles of thematic game mats from some of the industry's best known board game artists. We have 9 different sizes of those mats and like 164 SKUs totally. Now we even have leg kits for our toppers and dining covers. And currently you can still late pledge. We're only 2 weeks away from being done with fulfillment of our campaign that ended here in June. So amazing turnaround time that we've had on this campaign. And my wife, myself have even been at the shop, all working together to get this all finished out to backers right before I go to BGG Con coming up shortly. And so we are going to allow you to still late pledge on this Kickstarter until after BGG Con. So we're extending it about 2 weeks longer than we anticipated, simply because I'm going to the show and I want to give all those backers that I'm going to meet at BGG Con one last chance to get in on all these special package deals and over 25 unlocked stretch goals. Crazy good deals. Once the late pledge manager, we're going to go back to the web store to our normal prices. And so you're going to be able to take advantage of a lot of great deals now. So check out GameToppersLLC.com, GameToppersLLC.com. And with that, we're going to move on to our third game we think stands the test of time.
I thought you were going to say, and now we're going to move on to the Babel topic.
I almost did. It's hard shifting gears from the regular show to the Woods of Evergreen. This is just an abbreviated show, of course.
Yeah.
That we can never abbreviate anything. But my third game is the game Kingsburg.
Ooh.
Now, I have the Fantasy Flight version. I believe that there's a new version that came out. I actually prefer this version and the art on it and everything. But this game is so fun. I just love it. It's dice, and you're rolling dice to collect resources. And when you're basically using these dice as a worker placement mechanism to collect resources. But depending on where you go up on this levels on this board, you are going to get different type of rewards for that. Some of them will allow you to mitigate and change the dice or that type of thing. And you're going to be collecting all of these in these production seasons to collect resources to do your building structures, train troops, blah, blah, blah. This game I haven't played in a long time, but we used to play this all the time. And I really, really want to get this back to the table really quickly. And just for sake of time, I'm not going to go on a whole lot more about this here. But when you build those buildings, it's kind of an engine building thing, and there's a track of which ones you get, and it gets better and better. I just think this is a great worker placement with dice. It kind of was in that era when Alien Frontiers came out, and you had that same type of mechanism, and I love that personally. So, and there's plenty of dice mitigation options, and you're going in order, and everybody's kind of vying for the spot. So it has that type of player interaction that I really like. So for me, Kingsburg from Fantasy Flight Games.
There we are.
Go back. Well, I don't know how much when it got cut out there. I have it all on audio, of course.
Yeah. That's what that matters. Sorry, Kabuki.
When did it cut out?
Just as you started explaining the game.
Oh, so you didn't get the explanation at all?
No, just dice.
Well, really quick overview is simply that it's a dice worker placement game, and you're collecting resources by going to those worker placement spots. Love it. It's very much like Alien Frontiers, where you have that type of thing, but you're building on this board, which is kind of an engine building thing, and you're leveling up, and everybody is vying for the same resources. And so there's that tension of, how am I going to allocate my dice to go to these different places, and the bigger dice give you more. So Kabuki Kid said, I heard and saw everything that Burky said. So It's your internet that went down.
Yeah, it was my side. Yeah.
Well, there. So everybody heard what I said, and I've said enough. It's an awesome game. Love it. I highly recommend it. I saw the art for the new one and went, no, I like mine better, and I'm good. But maybe the new one is better. I don't know.
Okay. I haven't played that one, but I have played the other version, the Arkham Horror version.
Oh, you sent me a message, said lost connection with SteamYard. Keep talking. Well, I did.
I shouldn't have put the keep talking bit, because you do that naturally.
Yeah, there's no problem.
No.
I'm oblivious to anything else when I'm talking.
Yeah, I've heard Kingsburg is a very popular game, so not one that I managed to get into my collection. But as I said, I bought another game.
The king recommended it, and of course it is popular.
Yes. But I wonder if the king is recommending this as well. My third pick, again from 2007, is a zombie game called Last Night on Earth. Another dicey game. So
haven't played
Last
it.
Night on Never.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. No problem.
Never played it. It's that good, huh?
It's define good. Because this is not good, but it's good. It's like a B movie. It is a board game about B movie, and it feels like a B movie because it has all of these kind of elements that you've grown up with in a board game. So dice rolling for movement and dice rolling for combat, and take that with card play. But you're playing out a scenario from a zombie film. And yeah, these mechanisms are familiar and you're bored of them because it reminds you of Monopoly and Uno. But in this game, they just come to life, and they bring the game to life, and they bring the sense of you actually playing this film of zombies, whether it's a case of loading up the car full of gasoline, finding the keys to drive it
this
out
is
of
that
town.
game where you go and hide behind the chainsaws.
Yeah, and then searching houses for equipment to use, or food, or first aid. It's all done in a very Ameritrash style. I've used that word, but it works, and it's enjoyable, and it's fun. It's a game which non-gamers can get into because, as I said, these mechanisms are very familiar, and it's just a case of just going, okay, this is how this works. And it has this interesting dice mechanic for killing. When you attack, you need a certain value on your dice. So you can roll 10 dice, but as long as at least one of them has a value above a certain thing, it's going to do damage. You need to, sorry, it's coming back to me because it's been a while since I played this one. Whereas Arkham Horror, I played a couple of weeks ago. This I haven't played for about a year. But yeah, you'll roll dice for your heroes, and you'll roll dice for your zombies. And as long as your dice are higher value than your zombie, you're fine. You can push it away. But there are ways of killing a zombie, and by decapitation, by having double of the number or higher of the highest value dice of a zombie. So it's an interesting dice mechanic, but it's a very familiar dice system of, as I said, you roll a dice and you can move 5, which is kind of like, 1 minute I was running 1 and now I'm running 1 again, and the zombies are going to catch me. But it is just very thematic. This is a game which came with its soundtrack CD within the box, which kind of piqued my interest at the time. And it kind of got me started on this roller coaster of creating board game soundtracks myself. So, yeah.
And then you did Last Night.
Yeah, which was my kind of like hack tip, because the CD soundtrack, a lot of people snobbed because they didn't like it, but it was kind of like based on the old original George Romero's Night of the Living Dead soundtrack, which is very kind of weird and spooky kind of 50s sound. Whereas I felt more the game should be more 80s, because I watched Day of the Dead, which has all these synthy sounds, and I was very inspired by John Carpenter as well, the Halloween and the Thing, which had that kind of really kind of tense kind of so yeah, I basically did my own soundtrack to Last Night on Earth and called it Last Night. There's a copy over there, but I can't reach it. But
yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's a fantastic Ameritrash game. It's kind of you could believe that it was Richard Lonius that could design this, but it wasn't. But it's a fun time. Plays from 2 to 6 players, which is great, and it works in all player counts. And it's just stupid fun, American fun, board gaming fun.
Gotcha.
All of a sudden, this zombie can move 7. It's running at you. No, it's not. I cancel out that card. Take that.
Who publishes that?
That's Flying Frog Games. Flying Frog Productions.
Flying Frog Productions.
Yeah.
Well, I see Kabuki has a few games that she says thinks stand the test of time.
Yeah.
I agree with you about 1910, if we're talking expansions, because I won't play Ticket to Ride without that, with the bigger cards and all of that.
Okay.
And she says it really fixed that game, gave bigger train cars. Yep.
Yeah. I would agree. We had the same for the European version as well, an expansion which came out at the same time. So
we talked about Agricola last time we went through this list.
Yeah.
And then she's talking about Felix and Felicity, the cat in the sack. It's a fun bidding game from Friedman Freeze.
Okay. No, never heard of that.
Yeah, he has always got F's in all of the.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, there you go.
Oh, yeah. And last night is by the same team that did Fortune and Glory, which is one Kabuki loves. And one I never got.
Fortune and Glory. Fortune and
But,
Glory, Dr. Jones.
Yeah. It's very much that. It's very much Last Night on Earth, but Indiana Jones style. But I prefer zombies.
Well, there you go. We did it.
We
added more games we think stand the test of times in the woods of Evergreen from the years 2006 and 2007. And we'd like, again, to thank our sponsors, Arcane Wonders. Check out all their new stuff like Dice Manor, the late pledge for Foundations of Rome at arcanewonders.com. And you can still late pledge and get in on all of the package deals, the leg kits, the thematic mats, the game topper systems with cup holders, all of that, and 25 unlocked stretch goals for about 2 more weeks. So take advantage of that at GameToppersLLC.com. And with that, Barry, where can people find us?
People can find us on Board Game Geek with our guild number 2248. They can find us on all kinds of streaming platforms from iTunes and
Libsyn, true that.
Libsyn. Yeah, that's the other one.
Stitcher, baby.
Spotify, Deezer.
Spotify. You find us on Spotify.
Oh, yeah. I find him. It's hi-fi, but on the internet. Yeah.
I think if you just type in Burky and Badger on a web browser, in a Google line, in a Bing line, any of those lines, Safari, it comes up. It's good all over the place. It's like we're everywhere.
Even Jeeves knows who Burky and Badger are. We are unique.
And Siri knows. Siri knows.
Does she?
Yep. And Alexa, if you say Alexa, find. Oh, my phone just went off.
Yes, your Siri just worked.
My watch knows about it. Well, that's telling you something.
A live test. Hey, Siri. No, mine's gone to sleep. But you can also find us on his website, which is boardgametheater.com, or my website, boardgameseverybodyshould.com.
Guild 2248. Yes.
And of course, YouTube.
Well, as always,
Facebook.
super fun being here with
Twitter.
you all. Thanks for jumping in on the show, and tell your friends, and subscribe to YouTube so you can watch us live and join in on the chat and listen to the audio podcast. We'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks so much. Send us out, sire.
I will do. Oh, no. Oh, no. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.
We're so glad we had this time together. Now it's time to go. It won't be long until we have another show. So keep us in mind, get online. Burky and Badger will be back in no time.